So, I think I'm live. Let me just check my video. I can't even see myself yet. I will be able to soon. Let's do that. Nope, not what I wanted to do. It is live now. Ah, that's what I wanted. Here we go. So, here we go. So, here we go. Okay, so let's do a bit of... Okay, so a bit of social media promotion so that people are joining me. Let's do this. So, let's go on Twitter. Study with me session. Let's see if that brings people to the live stream. Speaking of, I didn't check my Twitter today. Let's see what's happened. Getting so many messages at the moment. Finding it hard to cope with it and keep track of them. Right. It might still be early. It's a kind of I don't know. I wanted to try this time and see if that works, but I might consider live streaming a bit later, because I think that's just a bit better. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I'll have to see and try and see. How can I? So here, I just probably stay here instead, and then not gonna do that. Okay. There's nobody for now. I might just start, to be honest. So, I am going to start. I need to make sure I can also see me. I'm gonna lower the camera a bit. So I'm gonna start with RTK, because that's what I do every day, no matter what. So, I don't know how many reviews. I've got a lot of reviews to do today. I've got a lot of kanji. I've got 65 kanji to swim. And I really thought that RTK, so remembering the kanji, would go faster, but actually it's still pretty slow. Confusion. Need. This is favor. No. What is it? Favor. Yes. Oh, nice. Got a year. Over a year streak. That's quite good. Ecstasy. Some kanji are so weird. Plum. I think this is tool. Yes. Good. This is... what is this one? Some kanji are really hard. It's an acorn and a saber. It's not nucleus. Engrave. Yes. Rejoice. Gosh, I'm really doing well today. Mediocre. Yeah. Shoot. This is Is it dragon? No, tortoise. Oh, it is dragon. Do I accept it? I don't know, man. It does mean dragon. No, it's definitely dragon. Tornado. Gonna cancel it. Shame. Dragon. I was not sure. King. Grains of rice? This one's a tough one. Trying to guess this kanji, but I cannot remember. It's not extent. Oh, that's a hard one. I might have to fail this one. Ball. Okay. Okay, ball. Bigwile. Bigwile. I think that's Bigwile pronunciation. I'm not very good at pronunciation. This one is superintend. This is what kanji is that? Forget. Yes. Bystander. The name of kanji is so weird sometimes. I kind of got used to it, so it doesn't faze me anymore, but some of the keywords are a bit like, what? Some of them I didn't even know the meaning. That's document. This is water. Start what? Ford. Yeah. And this is pinch. Yeah. I'm exceptionally good at the kanji today. Preparation. Food and lack. Is it hungry? Oh, it's drink. What's the story? My experience with Japanese enkais, dinner parties, plenty to drink, but a severe lack of food. Okay. Lack of food. Parties is drinks. Okay. Fair enough. Person straight away, I'm gonna say pay. Price. It's not far off. Can it mean pay sometimes? The worth. Price, the cost. Apparently it's not really like pay. I'm gonna cancel it. Surface. Hinder. Yes. Search. I'm so proud today. That's spicy and round, well-rounded. Bundle? Tenacious. Can't remember this one. Bonjour. How you doing? It's a bit quiet today, but I think people are going to join later on. I hope. I don't know. I am just studying, to be honest, so if there's nobody, then I guess I'll be more focused on my studies. Homecoming. Yes. Is that a year plus streak? Yeah, a year and a half. That's nice. Long dilate. Yeah. This is this is substitute garment. Sack or bag. Sack, yeah. Yeah, okay. This is dirty. This is that silver slums. That makes no sense for someone, what I'm talking about, for someone that doesn't know RTK. I can't remember this one. Go. Oh. Play? No, it's not play. Snow hide or something like that. Oh, corridor. Because the story was your son plays in the corridor. That's what I was thinking of. Play. Okay. So the memories. No, my brain is doing the work. Sort of. Corridor. Doo-doo-doo. I feel like I don't actually need to be on YouTube if I just stay on the thing here. Yeah, that's much better actually. So this one is horse meat, and then what's this one? Quiet, peace. Hard to say. Come on, brain, do your thing. Can't remember this one. Well, hold on. It's not facsimile. It is something with horse or bird, maybe. Oh, it's stern. No, it's not stern. Reputation. Can't remember. Inflation. Right. Due to the economic inflation, the price of horse flesh has gone up a quarter. It's gone up on 1 quarter. Not it. Not it. Regularity. Yes. I'm failing a lot. That's annoying. I failed 7 so far. This is... Oh, I did it yesterday. No. Kanji is a struggle, honestly. What's paint? No. Can't remember it. Bull rush. Such a weird word, to be honest. What's happening on Twitter? I'm gonna check. Not the most focused person right now. That's alright. Tree mediocre? No, texture. Tree texture. Doesn't ring a bell. Maybe it's not texture. I remember it though. No, it's tree and wind maybe. Desk. Yes. Oh my god, yes, that's it. Words. Reputation? Yeah. Interval. Yeah. Motivated. State of mind. Idea, state of mind. Isn't that 100 million? Maybe. Hello, Rasmus A. Recollection. I am doing my Anki reviews. I wish I could have like 2 cameras so you could see my screen or like share my screen, because that would make it more interesting, but yeah, I don't know, it's not possible. Either you see my face or you see my phone. So that's a compromise. Well, not a compromise, but that's it basically. Oh gosh, I'm tired. I woke up super early, considering that I went to bed at 2 a.m. more or less, and I woke up at 8. So I don't have the most energy, but here I am. I have enough energy. So that's spindle. Yep. Hooch. Yeah. I don't even know what hooch means anymore. Why did they assign this word? Sake. Ah. Shochu. Okay. So that is sake. Okay, fair enough. Not sure why they give that word. I think sake has another kanji. What's the kanji for sake? Let me type it. What is this one? No, it's not. Bit confused by this one. Whatever. Doesn't matter probably. So hooch. So for those though who are watching, you don't necessarily have to look at me studying. You can just literally study. I think it's just kind of a nice way of just being together, I guess, and finding the motivation. I find that seeing other people studying or study, then it gives me a bit of motivation, makes me want to do the same sometimes. That's healthy. But I'm also happy to talk. I'm easily distracted on streams. I always say I'm going to do a study with me, but then people just write a lot of stuff and I just end up answering and then replying. So anything could happen, I guess. So I think this is double back. Go. It's not double back. Why is this kanji? Go. Duplicate. No. Can't remember. Restore. Okay. Okay, I forgot this one. I think this is sad. Yep. 20 or sweet? Sweet. 20. Crap. I always mix them up. They're so similar. Dragon. This came back already. Person. Do I study Japanese intensively? Unfortunately not, and I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to do this live stream, because I don't study enough, and I find it honestly quite difficult to study with the coronavirus. I mean, I still do some studying, but I don't do nearly as much as I wish I did. So what happens is that I'm not doing enough, basically. I'm not sure what it is about being home all the time that makes me not very motivated, but I reckon it's the lack of routine and the lack of structure in my day, which I think is an excuse I give myself, because, you know, just because we're at home and stuff doesn't mean I can't study, but for some reason my brain really struggles, and to study, it takes me quite a bit of brain power, more than normally. So I'm in the middle of designing, and when I say in the middle, it's still in my head. I'm in the middle of sort of designing or trying to work out a way for me to like study more, basically, but in a way that's more like coronavirus friendly, if I may say. So, like, you know, staying at home like has its challenges, because if I was working, the way I would study would be different. I would be like, I don't know, like doing stuff on the bus, like, you know, revising. Then I could listen to podcasts or whatever. But because it's different now, I need to rethink it. So I think it's going to be a mixture of watching films and stuff, probably, and listening to more podcasts. I asked because I wonder if anyone uses Anki while studying intensively. Do you mean like intensively studying on Anki, or just people that study intensively and happen to use Anki? Because I wouldn't think you should study a language on Anki intensively. It should really be someone. Because I asked. Hold on, I need a drink. I'm really thirsty. But on Twitter, I did a language debate. I don't know if you've seen it, where I was asking if SRS, so Anki type of softwares, were the best way to learn vocab. And someone said that, and I agree with it, said basically that Anki is more like a tool rather than the solution. It's more like something you can use to reinforce your retention of the vocab, but it shouldn't be the only thing you use. But maybe I misunderstood completely your question, and I'm sorry if I did. just let me know. Right, sorry, I'm gonna stay on that screen. So let's go back to Kanji. I'm not far from having finished, that's good. Performing artists. Ball. Drink. This one I remember. Price. Oh, I think this one might be potato. Go with potato. Eaves. What's eaves? I think it's the thing of the roof, right? Eaves. Well, for Anki or any SRS, is that if one learns more than 20 or 30 words per day, then it's just a matter of time before a load of review piles up. Yeah, I agree, actually. And this is an issue that I've got with this current deck. I still haven't finished. I've got 20 cards left, but I can't bring myself to finishing it for some reason. But I remember when I was doing Kanji, like for the first time, because now I'm just reviewing, so that's good. And the deck is 2,200 cards, so that's quite a bit. It's not the biggest deck ever, but it's quite big. And when I was going through the new cards, sometimes I would get 100 Kanji, which was a bit too much. So what I do, if there's just too many reviews, is to just stop. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa. So yeah. I would just recommend that if the reviews just build up, then just don't do new accounts and just wait for it to go down a bit. In fact, I'm kind of cheating for my Kanji because I've got about, I think, 100 cards which are leached, and then what's the word? They're not deleted, they're suspended. And I didn't put them back on because I'm waiting for my Kanji reviews to go down a bit, because now they're not too high. Like today I had 65, but sometimes they are like around 50. So it's quite manageable, but I still would like it to go lower. And then eventually, if it's like 40 or 45, I'll add more of the suspended cards little by little. I'm not going to add 100 in one go. That's going to be way too intense. Then my reviews are going to be crazy. But yeah, it'd be nice to do it little by little. So yeah, that's my answer. Anyway, back to the Kanji. Oh, I tried learning words with Memrise, and I tried learning a lot of every day. And then one day 2,000 reviews were waiting, what? And I brought myself to do it, then the next day even more. 2,000 on what? How? Oh my god, 2,000. That would take me 3 hours to do, at least, because then you fail them, so they come back. I can't read Japanese that well. Oh, it's too small. Let's see if I can. So you said English. Understood Eigo. Don't know about the rest though. Ah, すいませんが、日本語が上手じゃないです。 But let's see if I can work out the kanji. I think this is enemy. I don't understand. Too many kanji, I don't know. I really need to work on my kanji. That's a good reminder. Anyway, so back to them. So eaves, what are eaves? I think, yeah, that's what I was at. Eaves, I think, is related to the roof. It's a weird word. I'm not sure why they use this keyword for this kanji in particular. It's something about the roof. Even a word in French, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the edge of the roof. That's what I thought. Cool. I was correct. So I'm going to fail this one. But why eaves? That's such a weird keyword. It just means roof. But roof is taken. Oh, it's a counter for buildings. Inego. Ah, watashi no. Ooh, two messages at the same time. So did you learn German at any point? No, I have never learned German. I know practically nothing about German. Although, I think I might learn it one day. Why not? But it's just not in my priority right now. I think if I manage to reach a good level of Japanese and then probably go back to my Italian, which is a sort of long forgotten language for me, then maybe after that I might do German. Although I always thought that my 7th language would be an African language, in particular Lingala, which is a language I'd like to learn. Just because I want to do something different after Japanese, if I ever get to that after Japanese stage. So I wonder what the best way to acquire vocabulary intensively is. Learning 100 words per day in Memrise almost killed me. I need to give the goal this a try. I think, and this is purely on my empirical evidence, which is worth what it's worth, I don't see the point of learning tons and tons of vocab through a software. I think Anki or anything like that, Memrise, whatever, you name it, should be used sparingly. I don't think it should be used to learn like 200 words a day or something like that, because I think the best way to learn words is really to see them in context. So I think what I prefer to do personally is the kanji I'm doing obviously is out of context, and that's a bit of an exception, because then the point is for me to just have an idea of the kanji and then being able to recognize them. But back to the vocab, what I've been doing is that I've used a textbook which I completed, and then I found a deck based on this textbook, and I'm just learning the words. And I think that's a much easier way to do it, because I've encountered the words before, so they sort of like ingrained in my memory. Because as much as I don't think we should learn like kids, because it doesn't make sense to learn like a kid if you're an adult, like it's just marketing, what's stunt, I think. I think it is still important to learn vocab in a as organic way as possible. Just because, first of all, like learning 100 words, just like cramming them into your mind, is not super exciting. And then I think the best ways I've learned vocab is through if I have an emotional connection with them. So when I say emotional connection, I'm just saying, not saying like, you need to be crying when you're learning this word, but it's more like if you learn them in a specific situation, if you read a book and there's like a word that, in the context of the story, is how to explain. I don't know, like some words have stuck to me better if I was reading this in a book that I liked, because that means like I've got like some emotional connection with that book. So like some of the words I will remember more easily. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that if you have an emotional connection while encountering these words, it makes it much easier. Ooh, okay. Watashi wa, I can't read everything. Oh, so small. Something tall. で、すみません。英語でください。英語で。日本語はとっても難しい。How do you choose what language you want to learn? Good question. I actually did a video about it which might help, which is called something like how to choose a language or what language to study. I just choose them based on just what I want. There's no other reason. All the languages I've done, I decided to learn. Well, I guess it was sort of compulsory because when I learned Italian, Spanish, and English, it was sort of not by choice. Well, no, okay. I didn't learn English by choice originally. Then obviously it grew on me. But then I chose to learn Spanish and Italian, and I just wanted to study them because I wanted to. That's it. I don't think there's a way to choose a language. I think there's a way not to. Like if you don't really have that motivation. But that's kind of an obvious thing. Like a lot of people say that, but it is so obvious because if you're not motivated to do something, then you're not going to do it right, or you're not going to do it as well as you could have if you were motivated. I was trying to learn a memorized course with 5,000 words as soon as possible. Well, I failed miserably, and I completely forgot everything I learned as soon as I quitted memorize. I think that's it, because if you're trying to learn too many words, then first of all, your brain doesn't have time to digest them, and it's just too much. And I don't see the point of doing that. I think the best way is to be doing decks, memorize whatever, like I did with my textbook, which is, you encounter words in context, then you learn them. That's a way to learn vocab you've encountered before. If you're just learning words out of context, first of all, depending on the level, some of the words are kind of obvious, but some words might mean different things in different contexts as well, so you'll be missing out on the nuances of the word. Possibly, imagine. Although for beginner context, like, let's be honest, the word tall is the word tall. Like, it's not going to have many other contexts, but some words can have a much different context. Arigatou gozaimashita. Yeah. I still want to know what Itsuki said, but I do not understand. Let's translate it. Let's see if Google Translate can be of any use, because I only understood some of it, which is not enough. Watashi wa kakosei de eigo o manabitai desu. Ganbatte. 英語が難しいですね。That's about all I can say comfortably in Japanese, and I'm not even sure that was a grammatically correct sentence, but who cares? I communicated, that's the point, right? Demo, Itsuki-san, 漢字は、難しいです。How to say I can't read? That's right. 漢字を、読みません。Maybe. 私。5,000 words in a month was a crazy goal to begin with, but I wanted to use the summer break as much as I could before the next semester start. Well, how about if you do a deck? I reckon it's beginner words, because you will be starting in a language. How about you do about 20 words per day, which is already quite good. If you can remember 20 words per day, that's already amazing. Then couple it with something else. I don't know what you like to do, but I think if it were me, I would do something like reading easy books or whatever in the language. Even what I do sometimes with Japanese is I listen to podcasts. I understand almost nothing, but I like the sound of the language, and you do pick up like things in the long run, like the rhythm of the language and stuff. So it's still useful. Then you could use a textbook. I don't know which language you're learning, but say Spanish. You can pick up a textbook. There's also lots of YouTube channels that teach you the language, so you can watch some videos. So basically the idea is to do like different things. I don't think you should focus on just one thing, but instead focus on multiple things. Depending on your goals, it's hard for me to just tell you, the recipe of what you should be doing. But whatever you're doing, do a variety of it. That's what I would say, for sure. So back to my kanji. I'm going to try to finish my day's review. So Eves, I was at Eves. This is, I forgot, Tenacious. Yes. This one I forgot. Kanji is so hard sometimes. I see I'm not moving anymore. Oh yeah, I am. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag between me and the screen. How learning Japanese changed you? Did it? Oh, I think the way it changed me, and I don't know if it's something massive, but it changed my belief that Japanese was an unlearnable language. I know it's not a real word, but like I really thought that it would be impossible for me to read any Japanese ever, and I was able to read what you said, so I proved myself wrong. I think that's probably the best thing. I'm still beginner, so you know I can't say I can read a lot, but I can. Like I can understand some kanji as well, so I'm getting there. I can understand like a few, if that. But yeah, I think it's changed my belief that sometimes you think you can't do something, but actually you realize that if you put your mind into it, then you can. And it's not a fact when you say you can't do it; it's a belief, which is two extremely different things. One, is a fact, so you'll be able to prove it. The other one is a belief which you have and which keeps you from achieving whatever you want to achieve. At that time it was German, but this summer in August I hope to go another intensive go to have an I hope to have an I have to go another. I'm so tired. At another language. This time it would be Icelandic. Okay, I don't want to feel August was wasted and learn nothing at the end of August. But think of it like that. If you do too much, you're not going to remember much. If you do a little, you remember more. So which one do you think is more productive? Aha! I don't know. I mean, that's my thought. Obviously, you might disagree, but I think sometimes doing little is more memorable than doing a lot. Because I feel like, I don't know if that's a bias, not a bias, but like a brain thing, but I think even 1 word a day is more memorable than 20 words a day in some cases, I think, because one is just stands out more. While if you do a group of a vague amount of vocab, then you're less likely to remember it proportionally. I mean, not obviously, if you learn 20 words a day, you'll remember at least half or something. And then if you do 1 word, you remember only 1 word. But do you see what I mean? Like, it's more memorable, it stands out more. So I think if you do too much, it just becomes some sort of like vague thing, becomes a vague mass of knowledge. I don't know if that makes sense. I wouldn't say I don't believe in studying intensively, but I think if you do one activity intensively, I don't think that's ideal. I think that's what I believe. Yeah, I think because no, of course you can do it intensively. Like for example, when I was doing English, I was doing it intensively. I was listening a lot intensively, but I wasn't necessarily cramming things in a forceful way. Because I think if you're doing like 100 words a day, like I don't know, there's no fun in it, and I think it's just not how the brain works. What you want to do is like have as realistic as possible experience in the language. So when I was doing my degree in English, sometimes I was bored because sometimes the content was hard, or sometimes I didn't understand what people were saying. Like 10 years ago, my English wasn't that great, but like, how to explain? At least, I lost my train of thought. Whoops, what was I trying to say? What is that? Memorable? No, but yeah, at least it was just like I was exposed to the language. I kind of lost my train of thought. What was I trying to say? No. What was it different? No, yeah, because it's a bit more natural, because when you're listening, like it's a bit of a more natural thing to do while being on this app and learning like thousands of words or whatever. It's not very natural, and I don't think it's that useful. I hope I answered your question a bit. But yeah, you can definitely do something intensively. But yeah, I wouldn't do just learning hundreds of words of vocab. That's a bit of a quite forceful way of doing it, I think. どうやってたくさんのstole a lot words をの知っていますか？どうやってたくさんの言っていますか？ I need to translate that. I don't understand the middle bit. どうやってたくさんの言語を知っていますか？ Oh God. I wouldn't be able to answer this question. Sumimasen ga watashi no nihongo ga jozu janai desu. I know the feeling. I studied Danish at the uni. I feel lost a lot, but I think feeling lost is okay. Like I don't see too much of a problem with that, because it's okay, I think, to be in situations when you don't necessarily understand the language, and that's normal. Even now, to be honest, like I'm fluent in English, and sometimes I'm just like, what did they say? That's okay. Struggling linguist, hello. Struggling linguist, you crack me up sometimes because you're so blunt. It's hilarious. I think 100 words a day is ridiculous and pointless. You'll never remember them all out of context. It's way too much for the brain. I actually agree. I think it's a bit too much. However, I don't know. Is there a context where 100 words a day could be fine? Definitely not on its own, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know, I think it's just too much. Maybe some people can. I tend to be careful of statements like you can't, you can, because, you know, I just couldn't prove that. Not that you can prove anything in linguistics, but anyway. But I think if you feel like it's too much, regardless of the number of words, if even 10 words is too much for you, then go down to 5 or 6 or 7. But just adapt. I think it's okay to try to do 7 words a day, and then and you probably will realize it's too much. So then just bring it down, and that's fine. That's what I would say, I think. No, I agree. What's the point? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that reminds me of university when I was learning English, and it was a degree, so that's a bit different. We were expected to learn, like there was a book, I don't have it here, but a book that thick with just words, and the words were so obscure. Like I learned the word for spoke, which is a part of a wheel, which I have never used in my life, but for some reason I remember it, and we had to just cram them. We had a week to learn 200 words, 300 words. But the worst thing was not so much that it's a lot of words. I mean, it was a lot, but you know, if it's a lot of words, but they're definitely useful, then fine. But it was just words that were so obscure. Like some was to describe like name of animals, like a sparrow. I'm not saying it's a useless word, but for me, it's not in my environment, so therefore it's not very useful. Kurisu haiku no gongo wo shite imasu ka? Kurisu. Who's Kurisu? Haiku. Kurisu haiku. Don't understand that. Kurisu wa dare desu ka? Let me translate. Yeah, I don't know who Chris is. Sumimasen. Shimasen. Well, if there were a lot of text with those 100 words per day, it would be possible, but hard to find text that is polished and only have a certain... Yeah, that's it. But even in a text... No, I was actually thinking of a text. You know, maybe there's a text where you could have 100 words that you don't know, but then, I don't know, it's not the most fun way to learn a language. I reckon if you wanted to, you know, watch a show or like read a book and just get some words off it to then learn them, I think it's okay, but I wouldn't do 100 words. I think it's a bit too much. Yeah, I don't know. Unless, I'm replying to struggling linguists, unless, that's really hypothetical, I don't think it's realistic, but unless you were doing like 100 words and then all day you were practicing them, like in a lesson or whatever, but like you would use them in different like in different activities or whatever, but that's not a common way to do it anyway, so it's not that useful. But I could imagine, you know, if I was doing a lesson on adjectives to my students, I would never teach them 100 words, but if I were, for like an exam or something, then yeah, I guess I would do different activities to use them in context for sure. I wouldn't just tell them, learn 100 words. That's a bit strange, I think. Yeah. Or maybe within that list of words, there would be some words they're at least a bit familiar with. Because when, I mean, it depends on your level of in the language, but because if you're a beginner, you don't know many words. But when you're more advanced, then usually when I was learning a lot of vocab, like I said, then some of the words I knew already. So I wasn't really literally learning 300 words, but maybe I was learning 90% of that, which is still a lot. But I knew some of them, and some of them, like, you can sort of, I don't know, because English is similar to French in terms of vocab sometimes, and also because one word it builds upon another, like kind of thing, so you sort of have some knowledge of it, so it doesn't make it as hard, but completely 100 words is a bit difficult. I think learning key phrases that suit your everyday environment, and it'll be easy to just switch up the phrases when you vocab and change them to suit whatever situation you're in. Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't learn just tons and tons of phrases, but there's definitely phrases that you can just learn and just accept them as they are without thinking too much about the grammar. Sumimasen, Kevin-san. Ah, nande? He's trying to speak Japanese to me, but my Japanese is not that fluent. I can just about understand some of what he's saying. I went to French school all my life from kindergarten onwards. My English is 100% acquired. But in my case, I don't think learning vocabulary is that useful, as the way language expresses an idea is different. One doesn't want to have to start speaking at one without two words. Yeah, but that's it as well. As I was saying earlier, like some words will have different connotations, and it's and translators would know, but it's a trick or like a preconceived idea to think that each word maps as an equivalent and maps onto the other language. Like, it's not always the case. Obviously, the word small is going to be like petit in French or whatever. They're pretty similar, little difference, but more refined words are not gonna. It's not gonna be able to translate them. Some examples is the word cringe. Someone asked me how to translate that into French, and I have no idea, because we don't have a word that really matches cringe. In fact, French people now say cringe, which makes me laugh. Or same thing for awkward. Awkward doesn't translate very well in French. You'd have to describe it, maybe use a longer phrase to express this idea. For example, speaking English with French words. Although, speaking English with French words sometimes can work because of the similarity in vocab. Yeah, it's my native language, and that's exactly why I say any vocabulary out of context is almost pointless. So I need to read back. I went to school. So French is your native language or English? Not sure I understood. If you don't mind saying that again. Gosh, I'm speaking a lot. Very thirsty now. That's fun. I like having these debates on my live stream. I live for it. Right. English is my native language, but I never went to English school as one would expect. So, do you mean your education was in French? Totally? Like you went to a French school and didn't have any subjects in English? Is that what you mean? Could yeah, that would sound fairly normal. I grew up in Quebec, so went to French school. English was acquired, not studied. I see. So did you have any subjects in English when you were at school? Yes, 100% French. Okay, I see. Yeah, so, I mean, not same for me, but yeah, my education was in French as well. Why were we talking about this? I forgot. We had English class, but it was basic stuff. So you grew up in Quebec. So are you a native speaker of French? I mean, how do you consider yourself? Because it's not... Sometimes people think like native speaker or not is a straightforward question, but sometimes it's not straightforward. It depends. So do you identify as a native speaker of French or not? Which can be subjective sometimes. Nothing I needed help with. Yeah, I see. Now, I'm saying that I'm kind of talking about another topic, but I'm saying that native speaker can be quite subjective because, I mean, obviously, you know, native speaker is someone that speaks the language from birth, obviously, but it can be a bit more complex than that because in my case, I am a native speaker of French and Portuguese, but my Portuguese is not at the level that you would expect a native speaker that's lived in the country to have. That was a long sentence. Because as much, I'm pretty sure Portuguese is the first language I've ever learned. I imagine. Never asked my parents, but I'm pretty sure because my dad didn't speak French when I was born, then probably he spoke French to me and my mum as well. Or maybe there was a mixture. I don't know. But definitely was in the first few days of my life I heard Portuguese. And my family is Portuguese. They don't speak French. But like sometimes I used to not want to say I was a native speaker of Portuguese because my level didn't match the expectation of a native speaker. But I definitely am a native speaker of Portuguese. By strictly speaking, I mean, I'm native as in I was educated in French but speak English at home. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. What I used to do when I didn't know a wide range of adjectives, just because I wasn't interested in learning all the adjectives at the time, I'd use the sophisticated word in English-ish. How do you mean? Give me an example. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, that can work. It's funny because when I have my students, sometimes they try an English word in French, and I'm like, nope, makes no sense. But when they don't try, they're like, oh, what's the word for information in French? I'm just like, information. Or like, what's the word for problem? Problème. And then in these instances, for some reason, they don't try when actually that would work. So it's quite funny. Lindy, finally catching you live. You caught me 2 weeks ago? When did I last live stream? I can't remember. I skipped a message. I consider myself both. Okay, I can have a conversation switching between both without issues. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Although even if you weren't able to switch between the two, you would still be a native speaker to me. I mean, you could still be a native speaker, I think. That wouldn't bother me so much. Yeah, you did. Oh, it's a shame that you weren't here earlier because there was someone talking to me in Japanese and I could understand only half because my Japanese is minimal at the moment. Well, it's always been. Still learning, still a beginner. But while we're talking about native speakers, I forgot. I think I just changed the topic. I do that a lot. Let me go back up. What were we talking about? Oh, I've got a call, but I'll pick up later. That's not. I'm not gonna have a phone call in the middle of a live stream. That'd be a bit weird. 日本語はあんまり話せません。あまり。Not a lot? Not very. Not very. So you don't speak a lot of Japanese, basically. I understood that. Yeah, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Or something. Yeah. Yeah. No, but can you imagine just being like, yeah, it was also my manager, well, my friend as well, so I wasn't gonna pick up my phone call. Maybe she's in the live stream and she's like, Kevin, I can see you. That'd be very funny. Yeah, Rasmus, I'm the same. I see you everywhere. What do you do? Let me have a look at. Can I look at your channel? Oh, I can't from here. Why? Wait, no, Rasmus, are you the guy that speaks Spanish on Twitter? You're Spanish, right? No, maybe not Spanish. Sorry, I didn't mean Spanish like from Spain, but like you speak Spanish. Right? I see you on Twitter as well. Right? Am I paranoid? I don't know. Konnichiwa, Rinji-san. Yeah. I never thought about your name in Japanese. Rinji. I like it. Rinji-san. I had my colleagues join my lives before. It's super awkward. Well, I guess, yeah, that's more likely to happen to you, I guess, because you have quite a big followship. Is that the word? Followership? I don't even know. English, whatever. No, I don't speak Spanish. Wait, I've seen you before for sure, though. I'm thinking about someone else. But I remember following. Can you say followship? Following ship? I'm thinking of readership. Is that an equivalent for follow? But following, I guess, is the word, you're right. But can you do something like readership, following ship? Is that possible? I'm curious. I make up words sometimes. That's what I like about English, is that you can make up a lot of words and like that still makes sense. It's just following. Oh, shame. I want to make followership a thing though. Do you think I can? Like vérité and la vérité. What does verity mean in English? I haven't really heard that word. Verity. Is that linked to vérité? Because it's not like it would be. Yes, Aaron. Yeah, that's why I see you. Yep, I remember, for sure. You can do anything, Kevin. The word is my oyster. No, but I love, like, I remember on one of my videos, it was very funny because, like, the word démotivation exists in French, right? And, like, I didn't think it would exist in English, so I just said unmotivation on my video, but I liked it, so I was like, I'll leave it in the title, whatever. I like it. And with English, you can be so creative, and it's much less the case, or whatever. It's much less the case in French. I think you can't be as flexible, so that's quite interesting. We need to catch up. Nice to meet you, Sanora. Oh, is Sanora your name? Okay, yeah, I didn't know your name either. You're still gonna be struggling linguist for me. That's what I see. That's your name, your online name. What was I? Would be shocked if you did. Yeah. You can do anything. Coin the word. I will coin the word. It's like a really high level of saying something is truthful, you know. Yeah, verity. But yeah, I guess it's not. But that's the thing. Like sometimes words that are from French in English, it sounds super formal. Yesterday with a friend, I used the word, I was so blasé, and my friend was like, what did you say? Like, what does that mean? I've never heard this word before. And I'm like, it's in the dictionary. And same for the word to be gauche. It's to be clumsy, but it's a very fancy word, like not very used. From now on, you should refer to your viewed as your followership, like a secret. Yeah, it sounds a bit like the fellowship of the ring. I don't know. Wait, what is it? The fellowship of the ring? Oh my god, I'm stuck at this title. Isn't that the word of the ring? I'm gonna type that on Google. Is that the following of the ring? Fellowship. That's it, right? So fellowship. Oh, that's fellow, not fellowship. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. But here you go, the fellowship of Kevin. I'm liking this. The fellowship of Kevin. I'm gonna use that. Fellowship. Which one do we prefer? I'm gonna do maybe a poll on Twitter. Yeah, blasé, sans. Fancy ass English talk. Yeah, I like to be fancy in English. Sometimes I'm just like, I like doing this, albeit I do not do it. And people are like, why are you sounding so weird, Kevin? Come on now. Kevin, what's your opinion on French word in English? Should people pronounce it with the original French pronunciation or with the anglicized version? Very good question. I sometimes really struggle to say French words in English. What's an example? I never know how to pronounce croissant. I just say croissant. People think I sound pretentious, but I'm just like, dude, like this is how you pronounce the word in my language. I don't know how to pronounce it in your language, so I'm just gonna say it the way it was originally meant to be pronounced in. But it makes me laugh. Yeah, Comic Sans. But yeah, I don't know. I think, well, I mean, for me, it's easier because obviously my brain is French, so it takes me a bit more effort to pronounce the words in English. Although, words like information, obviously I've got it down. But no, I think it should. I mean, it would be difficult for a native speaker of English to pronounce French words anyway, so they should just pronounce it with the sounds they have available in their bank of sounds, if I may say, of their language, and that's fine, I guess. Because technically there are words in the English dictionary too. Yeah, I mean, because people say they're French words, but really I consider them as English words in their own right. It's the same thing I've got with my name, because obviously my name is Kevin. People always ask me, oh, why do you have an English name if you're French? I'm like, dude, Kevin is a French name. Like, of course, it comes from English or something, but it is in it's one of the most common boys' name when I was born in 1992 in France. So that definitely is a French name, to the point that there is an accent originally. So I don't necessarily put it online because, I don't know, I put it on my Facebook, but not on the other things. But it is a proper French name, even though its origin is not from France. It's in fact, I don't know if you have the same thing in English, but we have, I was gonna say, we have a calendar. No, I know you have calendars in England or in England and other countries, but we have like saints, and like on the 3rd of June, it's Saint Kevin, so it's considered to be, it's officially a French name. Thank you, Kevin Costner. Where was I? You have to pronounce it sans. Ah, yeah, Comic Sans. Even sans is a good example, yeah. Furo, katakana. Hold on. This is horo, jipu. I didn't say that right at all. What is that? Okay, so hororu, horoyu, oyuru, ji. Oh, the ji and the shi. Hoyu shipu. Horoshipu. Ah, gotcha. Horoshipu. Oh my god, it took me a while. Gotcha. Horoshipu. That's a nice word. Horoshipu. Simple things, pretentious or hard to understand if it isn't said the English way. But that's the thing. It's kind of the same in Japanese, right? If you were saying like, I don't know, sandwich or tabemasu, like people would be like, what? Ah, sandoichi. Like they'd be like, oh, I understood now. So I think you just have to adapt to the language. Otherwise, because the point is to be understood, not to be pretentious and want to pronounce the words the way they were meant to be. Because to be fair, like I've got a funny example. I don't know if I think it's a bit related, but I remember a student in class that were talking about Chernobyl. And when they'd said that to me, I was like, what's Chernobyl? And then I was like, oh, can you write it? And I was like, Chernobyl, I understood now. Because like it was not how I would expect a person to pronounce it, and I had never heard it in English. So if I was reading it, I would understand it. But then because I didn't pronounce it the right way for me, then I didn't understand it. So yeah, I think that's kind of telling a bit of just that. Why don't you put the accent on your name on your social media, by the way? Good question. Why not? I don't think it was a conscious decision. Maybe I should. You made me think about it. I don't think it was for a particular reason. I think it's maybe because it's difficult to type. Oh, I think that's a reason. Because it's difficult to type accents in keyboards. And also if I'm doing forms, like I don't want to put accents because then if people are doing admin or whatever, they might be confused. So just because I wanted to adapt to the language, I think I just got rid of the accent. But in French, I would put my accent if I was, filling in forms or whatever. But in English, I just go accentless, I think. Just because... I don't know. It would make sense for me to either not have the accent or have the accent, if I wanted to sort of feel proud of my name or whatever, which I am, I'm not ashamed. But I'm okay with not having the accent just for English purposes, if that makes sense. Yeah. I just learned of name birthdays the other day. Definitely not something in South Africa. Name birthdays. What are that? Oh, you mean like a calendar thing? Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know of any country that does that. Well, because I didn't particularly have calendar in other languages, but yeah, in France we do that. So 3rd of June is my la fête, la Saint-Kevin. So I'm a saint apparently. Lindy. I'm from South Africa too. Woo! You're an inspiration to me. Oh, that's so sweet. There's also a name day in Hungary. Oh, is that what you call the name day? Oh, well, I didn't know that. Hungarian, a language you seem to be interested in, Lindy. Interesting. Oh yeah, the other day I was talking to Seibo on my channel and he said katakana with an American accent and people in the comments were like, katakana. Yes, Rasmus actually learned about it first in the Hungarian textbook. It's fascinating. Yeah, but I had the same thing. It's really weird because I'm a complete beginner in Japanese, so I'm not trying to be like, I only know proper Japanese or whatever. But I remember it was in France and there was a Japanese restaurant, and then the way they wrote restaurant they wrote restaurant in katakana, fine, but then they put nihon with katakana and I was like restaurant and I was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, nihon, but like, why did they write it with katakana? And you could tell they're not Japanese because they would have written it in kanji, or at least in hiragana. Hungarian apparently is hard. I don't really know much about it, but I've heard it's really hard. I don't think I've ever seen Kevin written as Kevin. Yeah, in France it's very common, I think. It doesn't matter what's the official way, people write it the way they want. When I was a kid, I used to, people would have like a different spelling of a traditional name, and I'd be like, oh, your name is spelled wrong, but it's not about being spelled wrong. It's just, I don't know. Some people, I guess, adapted it with the French graphie. Oh, that's a French word. Spelling, basically. But yeah, I don't know. Do I know Kevins without the accent? I don't know. Don't remember now. I know a few French Québécois named Kevin, and they all speak it the same way. How do you mean? The name? Well, it doesn't... I don't know. The accent doesn't really have an impact because I think without the accent, people would still say Kevin anyway. No one would say Kevin. Kevin. I don't know. Kevin? No, no one would say Kevin. I think it's just hard to say Kevin because N, E are far from each other. So Kevin is a bit like in the same place, like where the sound is realized. So it wouldn't make sense to say Kevin. I mean, it would make sense, but it would just be a little less comfortable to say, I guess. Kevin, I really want to learn Portuguese, so as French and Portuguese are both Romance languages, I would like to know how do the sentence structures differ from each other. Give me an example of a sentence, because there's going to be a few differences. The word order is not too different, but there are some things that are going to be a bit different, for sure. Like... what I can think of, I was teaching it the other day, is reflexive verbs in Portuguese. It's such a weird rule, but normally the reflexive pronoun goes after the verb, but then unless, with certain words before, then it will become before the verb. It's so weird. I'll give you an example. Maybe I'll say it. So if I said, eu chamo-me Kevin, but then if I use the word now, so I don't call myself Kevin, I'm not Kevin, não me chamo. I would say chamo-me, não me chamo. So the me will come before if there's a word like now and other words. It's super weird. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, because I didn't know the rule because I started teaching Portuguese 2 years ago, and I was like, Oh, that's true that sometimes we put it before, but what is the rule? Because I never had to consciously think about it, and maybe I've used it wrong in my life. You know, people understand you anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think I might have said it wrong. But then when I learned the rule and I asked my family, they don't speak French, they just speak Portuguese, so I can be sure they have like pure Portuguese, if I may say, because French influences my Portuguese obviously sometimes. Anyway, and they said, yeah, like if you don't put it before in that specific case, sounds a bit weird. It sounds like no one would say that. So yeah, so sometimes it's just a couple of things, but the word order is not like different, like, you know, verb first and object at the end. It's the same as French pretty much. Is the adjective in the same place? Un gars pequeno, un petit chat. Yeah, the adjective is word order is different. No, wait, no, because petit goes before, because it's an exception. Let me try another adjective. Gigantesque. Un chat gigantesque, un gato gigante. Yeah, it would be the same order for adjectives. But we don't have in Portuguese the same thing as in French, where words, adjectives like petit, vieux, grand, maybe. There's more. Will sometimes go before the noun. But it's just a couple of things, really. I need to keep up. There's so many messages. No, there's not that many, but still. We don't say cave, and it sounds about the same as it does in English. Yeah. My grandmother, she used to call me Kevin, but that's because she's not native speaker of, she wasn't a native speaker of French. That's funny. It's so hard, an eternal struggle. It's the accent, yeah. I lived in Hungary for 3 years, so I got in touch with Hungarian. 18 cases, that's what I heard, if I remember correctly. But for me, verbs are confusing. Definite conjugation, indefinite conjugation, so many verb forms. But conjugation in all languages is difficult, and for different reasons. I definitely think in terms of writing, French is harder. I mean, I don't know if it's the hardest, but it's harder from all the languages that I know. But like even English is difficult. Like the difference between past perfect and present, like it was so confusing to me. So in English, it's not so much the conjugation itself that's difficult for me. It was more like when to use the tense at the right moment. And maybe I still mess it up. I don't think I do, but probably. A lot of what you'll say sounds odd to me. How do you mean? Like us French people? Reflexive verbs are the bane of my existence, but they're actually logical. I love reflexive verbs. They're quite interesting. And like sometimes when I'm teaching them, like words in French are reflexive, when in English they don't need to be. They're not, in fact. Well, do you technically have reflexive verbs in English? You do use myself, but is that technically a reflexive pronoun? I don't think so. I don't believe this technically, or not the same way anyway, for sure. Anyway, but sometimes they're logical. And in fact, not having the reflexive pronoun changes the meaning. A typical example is the verb to marry. So it's not normally se marier. You marry oneself. Obviously, it doesn't mean you marry yourself, but anyway. But if you don't have the se, marier can mean you marry someone to someone else. So you can imagine that in, I don't know, the priest, for example, or maybe a case of forced marriages or something. So it's not, marier on its own is not too common in French, unless you're a priest, I guess. Or you're reading about priests or something, or not a priest, but like religion or something. That's what I meant. Sorry, I say priest because I grew up Catholic, but anyway. I think it's possible to make 5,000 plus forms for each verb. Oh god. Luckily not all forms are commonly used. Yeah, I would imagine some of them would fall out of fashion. Because I think over time language simplifies itself. So I reckon even French, I think to some extent probably simplified itself. Not saying it's simple, but it was probably even more complex. That's why it's very interesting in language, is that if something is too difficult or too tedious, it tends to not be used or disappear or change in some way. Not in a couple of years, but like over the centuries, I think. I think that's only a theory. Definitely arguable what I just said. Doesn't Hungarian also make the negative in a weird place, Rasmus? Like nem vagyok, Lindy, not Lindy, nem vagyok. Can't read that, I butchered this. Yeah, logical it is, but hard to use correctly and fast. I read a book and I read a book. Yeah, interesting actually. I keep using the wrong conjugation when trying to speak fast. That's a very good point. As a native speaker, when you're reading a sentence, I mean, obviously it's the context that tells you how to pronounce read and read, or read, but then, like, out of context, is there one pronunciation you would use over the other? I guess not. Like, it would be hard to say. Oui, vous les Français de la France. Les Français de la France. No, but it's funny because, like, to us, I don't know. I think, like, I'm fascinated by Canadian French. I think it's amazing. I just love it. Like, a lot of French people are like, oh, it sounds weird. It sounds like middle-aged French. But I think it's fascinating because I'm a lover of languages and anything that sounds different from standard language for me is fascinating. That's why I love non-standard English accents so much. And I find it so sad when people are like, especially in England, I don't know if it's only in England, but that's what I know. A lot of people have negative attitudes towards northern accents, but when someone speaks northern, I'm like, oh my god, I want to talk to you like for hours just to hear your accent, because I love it. And I think I'm nuts, but I genuinely like non-native accents. I think they're just fascinating. I wanted, just wanted to sort of talk about what Rasmus said. So he said it's hard to use correctly and fast. I think for many languages, it seems at first that a particular grammatical feature is difficult to use because it's complex or whatever. But actually, once you get the what's the word? Not a grip of it. English. The gist of it, I don't know. Once you get it, essentially, I have a lot of word gaps when I speak English. But anyway, when you get the gist of it, I think that's it. When you get the gist of it, then it just becomes easier, and you realize that once the knowledge is acquired, it's just second nature. Like, I never thought I could speak English that quickly before I learned English properly, but now I can. And in fact, even native speakers say I speak English way too quickly, which I know I do. I don't know. It is what it is. Sorry, I confused myself. You mentioned reflexive verbs a lot. I thought you meant indefinite and definite conjugation form. I don't know what that is because I don't think we have that in French. Oh, you were talking to Lindy Bot. Okay, gotcha. Oh my goodness, yeah, my English teacher had to drill us with when to use the right tenses in the past, especially. Yeah, it's not easy. It was only then. Yeah, because in English you have like, if the action keeps going in the present, like that makes no sense. That's too theoretical. But actually, it makes sense. I just use normally. Like an example I remember from my grammar lessons at uni was like, I've been running. You wouldn't say I ran. You want to say I've been running because the idea is that you're still out of breath. I've been running, and that's something that has an impact on your present. But it's kind of a weird concept if you don't know lots of examples in which it can be applied to. It was only then in year 8. Oh, so you're British. When I started speaking English grammatically correct. Are you English in year 8? You spoke English grammatically correct. What school system are you using? Where did you say you were from? South Africa? Not sure, I lost track. Sorry. Canadian French is so cute. My friend taught me isit, and I always catch myself singing it back. What does isit mean? I don't know if my accent is right. I wish I had a Canadian accent, if I'm not going to try. What comes before the verb is emphasized. That is why negative comes before the verb, like in Bayok. Okay. Get the hang of it. Can you also say get the gist of it, get the hang of it? Yeah, that definitely is the phrase as well. Do you get the gist of it? I think both can be said, right? Oh, ici. I love it. So do you have different words of saying ici, là, and là-bas? Or is it just ici? That's different from French from France. Yeah, just is also fun to use. Thank you, Lindy. Nice, I'm learning English too, apparently. Was supposed to study Japanese, but whatever. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's so sad when people want to speak with the right English accent, like there isn't one. Embrace your own accent, it's unique and cute. I know, I exactly agree with it. I think even people that speak non-standard English are so attractive. Like, it's so weird. Not necessarily romantically, but like, I just love it. Like, if someone will say, I don't know, I've got a friend like he says, instead of saying like you are, you were, he said you was, and I love it. I think it's great. I think you should always speak like that. こんばんは。日本語の頑張って I don't know how to do that. どうですか? Whose? Not sure. Lindy, I need your help. I did not understand everything. My kanji reading is terrible. Where was I? D'accord. I'm from South Africa, but live in Qatar, in the Middle East, and study the British system. Ah, I see. Blah. Yeah, but what about just là-bas? Because we have something similar. Like, I can imagine in a very casual context, if you say, it's benkyo. Ah, of course. Ah, so how is it going? Is that what he asked? Tokini Andy. Hold on, I need to catch up to messages. So yeah, you could say that in French from France if you speak very casual French. So I can imagine something like, if I was saying get out of here, get away from here, I would say bouge de là. So maybe I would say bouge de là, maybe, but I would maybe say bouge de là. Like, also, it's not super easy to say, but it can be quite close to dla. Yeah. You don't have it in French when the verb as an object. Conjugation in Hungarian differs whether the object is indefinite or definite. What does indefinite or definite means? How do you decide whether an object is definite or indefinite? Thank you. Say, yeah. Why did I mix it up with gambarimas? Tassez-vous de là. Oh my god, I love that phrase. I understood it, but tasser is funny because tasser in French means like to squeeze, to make something take less space, I guess. Like, for example, if you're trying to say tasser is like put in the corner and make it as small as possible. So, yeah, Tokin Andy, how you doing? For example, I read a book. Konivet Olvasok, I read a book. Ah, okay. Oh. Alright, so it's based on the article then? Whether it's definite. Ah, I understand what you meant by definite. Oh, yeah, it's because of the article before. Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think I understood. I think that makes sense. Andy, you've been working hard, apparently. That's quite cool. I was studying going, well, very productive, right? I did a bit of studying. I was doing a bit of Anki reviews for my Kanji. And yeah, I just got caught up in language discussions. Tasse-toi donc là. This doesn't make sense because like it's like I don't know. What would be the equivalent in French? It would be like casse-toi donc de là, I guess. You wouldn't say tasse, you would say casse-toi in French, from France. It's non-stop, but just found out I'm off until June for the most part, so that's cool. Is it because of the coronavirus, like schools and stuff? No, because you're not working in a school anymore. Sorry, is that okay for me to talk about that? Maybe that's a bit private. But I think you changed jobs, right? That's what we were talking about the other day. So that's cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're lucky it's a bank holiday today, so that's why I'm not working. So that's exciting. I miss school. Are you still gonna be in schools? You told me, I forgot. Because I know you were considering something else, to do something else. Yeah. Isn't that what I said? Well, I'm sorry, I sound too French for you, right? Casse-toi de là. Wait. Tassez-vous. No, wait, what's your example? Tasse-toi donc de là. I can't do a Canadian accent. Although I would like to learn. I find it fascinating. But it's funny, I don't know if, like, you can tell me actually, that would be interesting, but I remember when I was younger, I was watching a sort of international French channel, which is called TV5 Monde, so TV5 Monde. And it just needed like subtitles for the Canadian because I can understand most of it, but sometimes they use quite colloquial words, so we can't understand all of it. But the grammar is pretty similar. But what I find very funny in Canadian French is like, tu sais-tu? Like we repeat the tu twice, which I think is very cute. Tu sais-tu ce qu'elle a fait là? No, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. That's going to be offensive. Oh dear. Yes, I switched from a kindy homeroom teacher to sort of an English. Yes, that's it. That has far fewer hours, so I can work on this YouTube stuff. That's good. Yeah, I'm definitely planning my next school year to have more time to do a bit more YouTube. In fact, I should be doing a video this afternoon, which I will try to do. Close enough. Yeah, my Canadian accent is not great. But how would be your French accent? No, although I say that, but I remember I had a Canadian friend a few years ago. Like his French accent was very convincing. It sounded weird because you could tell he was forcing it, but it was fairly convincing, much better than what I can do in Canadian French. Like, oh my god, Switcher, I have no idea why we do that. It is very funny. I wonder why. Because it's like not useful. But to be fair, like in French, from France, we do useful things as well. Like, you know, ne pas. Like, why do we need double negative? In fact, as you know, in casual French, we just only use one negative. Like j'ai pas instead of je n'ai pas. No one says je n'ai pas in spoken like casual French. Although, interestingly enough, that can be used as an emphasis if you're speaking casual French. You say je n'ai pas, it sounds like you're making a point, like I do not have that or whatever. Oh my god, I think my French accent sounds a bit false. But that's normal, that's not your natural accent. Like if I was trying to speak with an American accent, it would sound so off. Not that my British accent is perfect, but it's obviously what comes more naturally to me anyway. Phew, I've talked a lot. So, what was that phone call about? I need to call later. I might stop my stream maybe in 20 minutes or something. Do it. What? Do it. Or like work. Yeah, the video. Yeah. American accent, go. Oh, God. Well, I'm put on the spot now. I think my American accent is not that great, but like, I think it could be better. But like, I don't know what to say. It still comes out as British. I can tell it's British. I can tell it's British. But like, I think when I was younger, I used to have a more American accent, but like, I definitely lost it. Because because I don't know, is that how you'd say that in American accent? Because I just preferred to speak with a British accent, and that's just what comes more naturally to me. So yeah, I don't sound like an American person anymore, you know. I'm so stupid. Brilliant. Cause it's weird because like American accent is like the accent well, not the most exposed to, but like sort of, because all my TV shows are virtually all in American English. But like, yeah, I just turned to British English. It would take me so much effort. I think for any word individually, I can like do the American pronunciation. I say, well, sort of, no, not perfectly, but I can. So I know, because I've studied phonology quite extensively. I think I would be able to sort of pronounce one word like in American accent, isolated, but in a sentence it's too hard. I'm just not used to it. Oh my God, yes, I always wanted to learn how to emphasize things in French the way we do in English. No, I said that I do not want to. How would I emphasize? So I would say j'en veux pas. Yeah, what you would do is like j'en veux pas, so I don't want it, and then we say non, je n'en veux pas. Non, je n'en veux pas. Yeah, we put the ne, and I think that's where my voice would be higher. Non, je n'en veux pas. No, I do not want it. We blend stuff together too much. I can't even imagine trying to activate an American accent. Well, I think if I had put my mind into it, I would sound more American for sure. But I don't know, I think when I was at uni, I remember doing a lot of like sessions, if I may say, where I was using a British accent on purpose, and I was like slowing down, making sure I get the sound right, and then like speaking more quickly, faster, and then yeah. So like saying faster is not natural to me anymore. It's just faster. I say like fast instead of fast. Faster. Oh my God. I'm making you feel out of myself. Oh dear. It's fine. If I'm just embarrassing, I'll delete the stream. That's so cool. Interesting. Yeah. But I find it super interesting. What I like about teaching French is that when you have to think about what I would say in that context, it makes me think a lot. And I love that. I love difficult questions. Like sometimes students, they ask me like, "Oh, why do you say de and not a here?" And I'm like, I don't know, but I will definitely check. And you can be sure, like in the evening, I'll be like on the internet, like, why do we say this in French? It's quite funny. No, it's perfectly fine. Nah, you're being too kind. You're so funny. Well, I'm glad I'm funny. So in Quebec, I'd emphasize the pas or even j'en without changing. J'en veux pas. J'en veux pas. Non, j'en veux pas. J'en veux pas. I had to think about it. What would I say? Non, j'en veux pas. Non, j'en veux pas. Maybe you could do both. It depends. J'en veux pas. Oh, I think no, because what I would do is like, non, je n'en veux pas. I would use the N apostrophe on purpose. But then maybe you say, j'en veux pas. Is that what you mean? Yeah, I know it's hard to explain in writing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very interesting. No, I find it very interesting to emphasize on how I would say things. Yeah, because it's not even sometimes it's not a matter of translation, it's a matter of how you would convey the message. And it's so hard to explain. It's just like through exposure. And it just feels like so natural to you that it's kind of hard to have this conscious knowledge of that in particular, I think. So yeah. Interesting. I need to do my kanji deck, so I'm just going to ignore the screen for a second. I've got a few reviews left. What is this one? Oh, Corridor. That's it. I remember this one. This one is... Andy, did you do RTK? I think you did a long time ago. Didn't you? I can't remember. time to go. Nice to talk to you all. Have a great day. Bye. Thanks for joining. Show me. Okay, what is that? I hope you can see. There's a delay between the screen and what you can see. Yep, you should be able to see it. I believe it is, so that's body part, I think. This is a bird. I can't remember what this one is. I did this one earlier. Oh geez, no clue. But do you know the kanji or do you not know the keyword? And do you not know the keyword, that's what I meant. Oh, I did it earlier. Oh, it was inflation, apparently. Does that sound right to you? The keywords sometimes are not very clear. Yeah, fair enough. How often do you talk about inflation? What are the different meanings of that word? Let's see. Inflation, upward trend, reactionary price rise. Yeah, jump. Yeah, it's usually for price related. So I guess if you're not in the stock market or if you're not into politics and economics, then you might not use it too much. What was I? Which languages have you learned, by the way? Sorry, I don't know. Me, well, I don't know, learn in the like broad sense, obviously French and Portuguese. Then, I don't know. I never know. I think English is technically my fourth language, but because I used to speak a bit of Spanish when I was a kid, because I used to go to Spain a lot. I had a Spanish family. Well, not family by blood, but like there was basically part of my family. And I used to go to Spain, so I could speak a bit. And then I studied it in school after I studied English in school, but my Spanish was still stronger than my English before I was 18. I used to be fluent in Spanish. Not now. I've got passive understanding of Spanish, and then I can speak a bit. Anyway, and then English became obviously stronger. I even believe my English is stronger than my Portuguese. I can express myself more easily in English than I can in Portuguese. Although it feels different. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Anyway, and then Italian for 3 years, which I stopped. I'm not maintaining my Italian anymore. I've got a passive understanding. I can understand some Italian now still, and then Japanese now. Which is where the adjective non-debate came in the other day. Yeah, but this debate was different, and I think the issue also is because we speak two different varieties of French. So. Like, we could both be right, technically, for our own variety. Oh, geez, no clue. It's hard to convey a lot of things through text. Yeah, text is a tricky one, for sure. I don't remember either. I haven't used it in a single time. Yeah, I read that. Especially one little message at a time with random people jumping in and out. So confusing. How'd you... Oh, yeah, on Twitter, you mean. Fair enough. Yeah. Whew, nasty as heck. I'm probably going to stop in about 5 to 10 minutes. It's been a while. I miss streaming, also quite tired. I didn't sleep very well. This one is... Come on, Andy. Give it to me. Tell me where that is. I cannot remember. Oh, this is bull rush. I remember now. It's a weird word. Even in French, I don't remember the word. Is it roseau in French? Massette. I don't even know that word. It's a plant. Who knows the words of plants? Come on now. No one does. Or futon. What? That's confusing. It's not part of it. Anyway, confused. Then recollection. Yep. Then restore. That's 20. Also, Andy, what is that about? Like 20? They don't write 20 like that, do they? I've never seen it. I don't remember seeing it. If you could give me your opinion on that. How common is that? Especially, oh sorry, I read that. What did you write? Bull rush, yeah. I wonder where you could use that kanji. I guess it's common enough. You knew about it, so I guess it has to be common. It's a compound, not a kanji. I see. Right. So is there a difference between... So you mean it's a kanji but it's a compound, or is it a compound or a kanji? Is it like one or one or the other? Ah, okay, it's a kanji in futon. Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know about that. It's the first time watching it live. Oh, really? Well, welcome. It's really so much fun, especially watching someone who has a love for learning languages. It makes me more motivated to keep on learning. Oh, I'm glad. Well, there's lots of motivated people around here, so you can always join whenever I'm live. J'y vais. Ok. Salut. Ciao. Bye bye. À plus. Do we even say à plus anymore? Come on, struggling linguist. We used to say that 15 years ago. Is that something you say in... I'm joking, by the way. But it's not, we don't say that in French anymore. In French from France. That's quite funny that you said that. So, well, usually it's... Yeah, that's what I was seeing. Ah, see, that's why I was confused with dictionary, because he gave me that word, the second option you gave me. And then, yeah, he didn't have the kanji that I was searching for. The first one is not a kanji on its own. The one I said was a compound. It's only used in other kanji. But no, I was just wondering, so is it still considered a kanji even if it's only used with other kanji? Or is it literally just compound and not a kanji at all? I'm just on the terminology. I'm just wondering. Because I didn't realize there was a difference so much. Does that make sense? Yeah, I didn't realize, I guess, that some kanji are going to be never going to be used on their own, I suppose. Anyway, so eaves is a bit of a weird word. Tree vat. Okay, it's not considered a kanji, but it's a part. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit misleading because it's called remembering kanji and it shows up individually, so yeah. So how do you read that? The Oh yeah, amai. Sorry, yeah, of course it's amai. I actually knew that, but no, I just meant like the one I showed you was 20 apparently. So it's sort of like sweet, but without the stroke in the middle. So you have like 3 lines, and like there's no line in the middle for 20. I don't know how to write that. Don't know. Can I even, if I say niju, does that come up as the kanji? Just wondering now. I'm not too sure. Yeah, that's it. Okay, did she not? How did you write it then if you didn't know? Did you have like to like write it on your thing? But why did they give kanji that's never used? Come on. If I need you, it doesn't even come up. I wouldn't know how to write it. Don't know. She's never seen it. Interesting. Okay. Should I delete it from the deck if it's not useful? Oh. So that is 20, but it's not used. Is that maybe like old? Not old, but like... Oh yeah, it is treachery. Need you. I wrote need you. That's my fault. Need you. Yeah, it does come up actually. I wonder what the usage of it is. Let me check. I'm curious now. It's not. Where's my dictionary? Forgot what it's called. Oh God, come on now. Oh, it is here. Right. But if she has never seen it, then I feel like I should delete it. That's one less kanji to worry about, to be honest. Let me see. Yeah, it does come up. Yeah, because Niju, yeah, that's it. It's written with like 2 and 10, so not 20 per se. Although it's interesting that it sort of disappeared and became obsolete because it's actually a very easy kanji to write. And it's actually more concise than 2 and 10. That's quite interesting. I mean, it's used in other kanji, so it's good to remember for writing, but yeah, it's not super important. So, but you said you've never seen it. So is it at least used sometimes, or is it just never used? Maybe according to Yuki, if she's around. Which I guess she is, because you just asked her. True, who knows? Yeah. I would imagine like more complex kanji being simplified, but it's not actually fairly simple. So it doesn't matter too much, I guess, that I use it or not. It said that there is no way that you will ever use it. Wow, okay. So I should have checked something. Wait, hold on. No, wait, how do I check that? So, what's this dictionary I use? J? Confused. I'm very interested in this. Kanji dictionary or something? I want to see the compounds of it. Well, if it's used in any other Jisho, of course, that's it. Yeah, Jisho. So let's see what comes up with. So 20 years old. Okay. Yeah, but it's replaced with the 2 and 10 kanji. Doesn't give too much. No, it's not actually the dictionary I wanted. Anyway. It's used in Radish? No, at all. I'm not reading that properly. Never mind. A family name? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, fair enough. Oh my god, that screen is so small. Right. Bushu, radical part of a kanji character. Right. Interesting. Some kanji is definitely useless. Not useless, but like so not common that it's not very useful to learn. Or anyway, not now at my level for sure. That's the thing. I remember on Reddit there were people making a case of some kanji in RTK being useless. Well, not useless, like literally, but like not being so uncommon that you don't have to learn them. But then there was debate about people saying like, yeah, you say this one is not useful, but you know it's used in that word, and like people just arguing about actually how useful it is to learn or not. So it wasn't that clear cut. So I find it confusing as a beginner because I don't have the experience of seeing the kanji. So obviously it's hard for me to gauge that. It looks like the only name it appears in is a place name called Hatsukaichi. Okay. Yeah, so it's just a place name really. So like, yeah, it won't be that useful for me. Fair enough, interesting. Yeah, it's definitely a little confusing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. How do you mean about some kanji being useless or like useless? That's definitely something we could talk about next Thursday. I'm gonna make a note of it actually because I find that very interesting. Like some kanji being useless or not. Well, I think I'll phrase it better. Or in fact, we could just talk about RTK in general because that's very interesting. So like in RTK, you can make a note of that. That's quite an interesting thing to do. I'm sure it would have come anyway. I find it very interesting. So let's do 16 more. So this one is monkey. Yeah. Hegemony. Speaking of which, there should be free next Thursday. Yes, cool. Should we do the same time? 10 a.m. for me and whatever time that is for you? 3 p.m., 7 p.m. maybe? Oh yeah, for sure. I am not working on Thursday either. So that's good. 6 p.m. Right. I never know the time difference between England and Japan because I think, oh my god, this is so stupid maybe, but I thought like when there was a time change, like daylight saving, it would change for everyone in the world. But yeah, not the case. Yeah, same as this stream, I think. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I started at 10 a.m. For sure. There's beacon. Water splash. Animal. Yeah. Water concentrated. Yeah, it's so strange, right? Yuki sounds young. How do you mean? Is that in a good way or in a bad way? I'm confused. Nah, it's fine. You didn't draw them away. Hey, I have a question. My boyfriend is Portuguese, and whenever someone mistakes him for being Spanish, he gets kind of mad, like in a funny way. But is there like tension of some kind? Is there tension or not? It's hard for me to say because as much as I'm Portuguese, I'm not in Portugal, so therefore I might not have the same experience of a native speaker. But I guess there's gonna be what's the word? No, animosity, is that the word? I think there's gonna be always between two countries anyway. Like France and England, they're like, yeah, French people used to, you know, you're good at losing, or I don't know, whatever, like wars or whatever. I don't even know. I just don't care. But same in France, between France and Portugal. Like whenever there's like I think that's my theory. Whenever there's like some sort of history, like literally in the past between two countries, there's always some kind of animosity, usually, which makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying it's okay, but I think it makes sense. Yeah, but I think yeah, there might be some, especially because like sometimes people don't know that in Portugal we speak Portuguese. That sounds so strange to me. I know like sometimes it's hard to tell the language of the like that is spoken in the country because it doesn't like the word for the language doesn't match the name of the country, like Japan Japanese, French, France French, England English, etc. But like come on, like surely people have heard of Portuguese. But I'm saying that because I'm Portuguese, obviously, so I would know about Portuguese. But yeah, not serious tension, but like I can annoy him by just saying nah, I'll learn Spanish rather than it's so funny. It depends on him. Obviously, I can't speak for him, but it might be because I don't know. I mean, you're saying he's not seriously mad, but like maybe it's just pride in the culture, which I think anyone could experience. Like you would prefer that people learn your language than another language because we probably have a bias that our language is superior. Like not like our language is the best in the world, but because it's an emotional language, like our native language has an emotional connection with us. We just think maybe unconsciously. I think we think it's probably the best. I think. I definitely think French is the best language. No, I mean I love English, but no, it's not even the best. I'm not phrasing that properly, but I just think it's a great language and I love it. All right, man, gotta go make dinner. Have a good day. See you next week. Well, I'll see you next week then. Enjoy your dinner. Bye bye. Ooh, it's hurting my ears. This thing. I don't even know why I've got them. I don't actually need them. I'm not hearing anything. Although that actually is good because I can hear if my voice is being picked up by the mic. Because this is really weird, but when I speak, I hear my voice back here. And I kind of like that. Anyway, so I'm going to do my kanji and then probably go. What was that? Is that elbows? Are you like... Is that how you say bye? Like all the coronavirus times, I guess. We don't shake hands anymore. So, this is metal. I think this is... Oh, is it copper? Nitrate. Chain. Okay. That was not it. This is a test. Wipe. Whoops. Oh. Right, I think I'm going to finish here anyway. Accept. I messed it up. Anyway, I think I'm going to finish here for today. I don't know when I will stream again. So I need to do it more. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. I can't promise. I will make sure I give enough notice anyway to as to when I'm going to be live streaming. But regardless, I will see you very soon and bye. I'm just checking there's no more last minute messages, but I think that's it. So I'll see you later. Bye.